The sky is literally the limit for the future of racing. Our next guest wants to make NASCAR a rocket sport. That's right, rocket ship racing may be coming to airspace near you as soon as next year. Granger Whitelaw is the CEO of the Rocket Racing League, and he's here to tell us about the high aspirations of this sky-flying enterprise. Good morning.
Good morning, Alexis. How are you?
Okay, I'm great. Explain to us how this works. How is this different from NASCAR traditional racing on a track?
Sure. So it's very similar to NASCAR, IndyCar, where we have multiple teams owned by team owners, and they're sponsored by sponsors like DKNY, who just came on board with us. But instead of racing on the ground in a racetrack, we actually tilt that racetrack 90 degrees. It happens right in front of you, not looking up, but looking straight out at the racetrack. They're in the bleachers. And then at home on TV, you see a synthetic racetrack in the sky, kind of like Fox football when you paint the first down line across. We use a synthetic overlay, and you can see them going through the course, passing, and speed. It's very fun.
It's such an unbelievable concept. So they're racing up into the sky in front of me on a sort of a virtual track that they're going around. What's the object here in terms of how many guys can be doing this? And we're watching it now, so we're seeing a little bit of what it's like. How many guys can be in the air doing this, and how long does it last?
Well, it lasts about an hour and a half. We have kind of 4 heats, like 4 quarters in football. And we're going to race 6 to 10 vehicles at a time. So there'll be side-by-side takeoffs. They race their race. The track is timed, so we know who's really leading. They pit, refuel, and they take off again. So very, very similar to Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, but now in the sky with rocket-powered planes. And it's really convergence of technology, taking 21st century technology with gaming, because gaming is really big, Xbox and PlayStation, and combining that with TV and rocket-powered aircraft. So
I have to ask you, I mean, it sounds really cool. How'd you come up with the idea?
Well, we were at the Indy 500, my partner, Peter Diamandis, and I, and at the time we were doing the X Prize for Space, a $10 million prize for the first privately funded spaceship, which was won by Burt Rutan and Paul Allen. And Peter looks at me and says, "We have to do this with rockets." And I said, "What are you talking about, Peter?" Anyway, we talked about it, and actually that night by 3 o'clock we had laid out the entire business model, and we've been executing it for the last 7 years.
Unbelievable. So you've been executing it for 7 years.
Yeah.
You had your first exhibition last week, your next one coming up. How did the first one do?
Well, the first was fabulous. We flew on Tuesday. There was 750,000 people come to Oshkosh, and it just stole the show. People could not believe what they saw. It's a 15-foot flame coming out.
There it is. We're looking at it right now.
And the DKNY shining. The clouds came in. It was just unbelievably beautiful. And we're going to Reno Air Races next, which should be a lot of fun for the fans, with multiple vehicles there.
Okay, so you have to talk to me about the dollars and cents here involved, because as I said to you just moments ago, this would appear to me to be a very expensive venture. What does this cost?
Well, for a team, it's about $1.25 million, and then you're probably around $75,000 to $100,000 a race after that.
And is a team a rocket?
A rocket team, right, you get a rocket plane, all the avionics, so you have the racetrack in the sky. There's 5 cameras on board, so you can see the pilot's view and other views, and the ground equipment for refueling. So $1.25 million, then probably another $75,000 to $100,000 a race. And we've spent just under $20 million developing the sport. We have some phenomenal investors and board members.
And I see that you have projections here that you think that in estimated revenue you'll make $10 million next year and $150 million by 2010. How many teams do you plan to get into this?
Well, we have 6 teams now, and we'll go up to about 10 to 15 in 2010, 2011. We're about a year and a half behind where we thought we'd be right now, and with those projections. So 2011, we should look for that kind of $150 million mark. But merchandising, sponsorship, TV rights, gaming sales. We just put a new game out on Tuesday that can be downloaded off our website at rocketracingleague.com that you can play and see what it's like to be
so unbelievable. Pretty cool concept. So you said DKNY is one of the original sponsors.
Yes.
You've got 6 teams. What kind of names of people are getting involved in this and putting up money behind it?
Well, on our board of directors, we have Bill Koch, who is America's Cup winner, and his family started Koch Industries. He has a company called Oxbow, a wonderful guy, MIT guy, and Bob Harari is also our vice chairman. He is the CEO of Celgene Therapeutics, which is a $28 billion stem cell company. I think it's the 2nd or 3rd largest in the world. Bob Weiss, movie producer for the Blues Brothers, and Rami Weitz, who is a great gaming entrepreneur. and other guys behind the scenes like Elon Musk and who's invested in some other people.
Some serious names from a lot of different industries. Well, it's a great pleasure to meet you. I think this is very cool, and we'll see how this takes off. Best of luck with you. And so Reno is next week, and people can learn more about this by going to your website, I take it?
Yeah, rocketracingleague.com.
Rocketracingleague.com.
Learn all about it.
All right, and you can play video games. I'll let my kids
Absolutely.
know. All right, Granger, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And now let's send it over to Jenna for a look at this morning's headlines.